What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of That's whY2K. Gen Z has the floor, season 2. I am really never going to get tired of saying that. As you know, I am your mediator, Nisa Muhammad, the program specialist at the YWCA Family Resource Center, and I'm here with some amazing people this time around. Y'all have got to get ready because it is about to go down in the DM. So I want everyone to go ahead and introduce themselves, tell a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll get into some disclaimers.
Hey, my name is Stanley Stoudemire, and I go to John Carroll Catholic High School on Lakeshore, and I'm a junior, and I'm the host of this show.
I guess I'll go next. My name is Deshaun Wilkerson, and I am the YWCA's Domestic Violence Prevention and Outreach Specialist. Really fancy word to say I do things like this and engage the community to talk about and hopefully to help eradicate domestic violence.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Johnny Gunn, and I'm working with the Allergy Clinical Research and Asthma Urticaria. I work in recruitment, and I also do mentoring for middle school and high school students.
My name is Rachel Mixon. I'm a senior at Birmingham Southern College. I'm an artist, a writer. I participated in the crew program this summer, and it changed my life. Yeah.
So welcome, everyone. We're super excited. As I said, I'm Nisa Muhammad. I'm the program specialist. That's it. It's a fancy way of saying I play with my teenagers, my students all day. We hang out, we kick it, we have a good time. And we do things like this when we have important conversations. So as I said, we're talking about it going down in the DMs. For those of you who do not know, February is Domestic Violence or Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And so the conversation that we're going to have, it may get a little heavy, it may get a little real, but it is important that we have the conversation. So parents, if you have younger children who are watching this, please go ahead and watch it with them. You all may learn something as well, and they may have some questions that we can't answer because, of course, this is a recording. So before I start, I do want to express that the views and opinions expressed in That's whY2K, Gen Z has the floor, are those of the panelists and not necessarily reflecting the official policy or position of the YWCA Central Alabama or any of its affiliated entities. Cool beans? Everybody got it? Good? All right. So, first things first, y'all, I hate to start as heavy, but I'm gonna have to because that's just what I do. If you've seen the show, you know how it goes. So we're gonna issue a moment of silence here. And our moment of silence is for Amir Locke. It has been, when I wrote this, 1 year and 8 months to the date after the murder of George Floyd in the city of Minneapolis, where they're once again demanding justice for a slain Black man, right, at the hands of their police department. So 22-year-old Amir Locke was murdered during a no-knock warrant. For those of you who do not know what that is, basically the police officers get the right to enter into an apartment without warning. Basically, they just come in for an arrest. However, in this case, this warrant, this no-knock warrant, was not even for Locke. At the time when they did enter, Locke was underneath some covers on a couch, asleep. The couch was kicked, shots were fired, a young man lost his life. So our moment of silence is for him. Thank you all. Very much appreciated. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our What's Up With That. And then we are going to give Mr. Sean the floor to give us some facts and things and have some combos with us. So y'all know I like a little bit of mess. And when I say a little bit of mess, I mean a little bit of controversy, just enough to get people thinking and talking and just a little bit stirred up. Y'all, have y'all heard about, first of all, do y'all watch the Olympics? Yes, no, maybe so?
Normally I watch the Olympics, but this year I haven't really gotten into it as much as usual.
I've been keeping
either. And I think because the summer and the winter kind of was back to back, so it was a lot.
They were so close.
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny?
I've been keeping up with it.
Okay. All right. Rachel, what about you? The Olympics, that's your thing? Yes, no, maybe so?
I watched the summer ones, but I think it was too close. Like, I kind of forgot about it, honestly.
Okay. That's fair. as a kid, I never even knew I was watching the Olympics. I was just like, ooh, they're skating on ice. That's cool. And then they were like, yeah, it's actually a whole thing. So yeah, I haven't watched it, needless to say. However, that does not mean I don't scroll down the TLs, y'all. And on the TLs, for my older generation, that's the timelines. That's the social media things. On the TLs, there has been so much conversation about the fact that a young Russian skater, whose name is, and if I pronounce it wrong, I do apologize, Kamila Valieva, right? So she's been allowed to continue to compete for Russia as a figure skater, even though she's tested positive for having steroids in her system. However, do you guys remember there was a young lady by the name of Sha'Carri Richardson who was actually Olympian bound, and she is an Olympian because she did qualify, right? She did, who was not allowed to compete. Y'all remember that? Okay, I'm seeing some hands. So we do remember, audience. Okay, right? So Sha'Carri took to Twitter with a very valid question. And I think it's valid. And I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. She said, quote, "Can we get a solid answer on the difference between her situation and mine?" Unquote. What's up with that?
It's crazy. It's very crazy. And I truly don't understand it. Even her story, how she said, she was losing, she lost a family member at that time, and she was trying to use that substance to cope with loss. It's not like marijuana is going to make you run faster. But you have a person who took steroids and is probably going to do some kind of quadruple flip off the steroid, but she still gets to compete. So we clearly know what that means.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I agree. I mean, we know exactly what it means. We're not unfamiliar with this. It's just another example once again, and it's blatant. Like he said, steroids are performance enhancing drugs. They make you better. The chemistry of marijuana, it actually kind of slows you down. So for her to have been found with that in her system and be disqualified, and the other girl to say it's politics, and it's racial, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And she done brought the chemistry into it. Okay, Rachel. Okay, Doc. Deshaun Stanley, any points on this one?
You know what? I'm probably gonna be the old person in the chat today. I think two things can be true. Okay, do the rules need to be changed as far as should they be able to have marijuana and still compete? Yes. Did she break the rules at the time? Yes. And so as far as the situation, comparing her to the young lady who is now competing with steroids, that's not right. And I totally feel there is some bias going on there. How, I just feel a little bit like, I think Sha'Carri has every right to feel upset and feel wrong about, not being able to compete, but the rules were the rules at the time. And unfortunately, that's kind of what happens when you break the rules. And, she was aware of that before. And so I'm real big about choices, and we all have choices to make. And some of those choices come with consequences. And unfortunately, that, was her consequence, that she wasn't able to compete. But I'm all for that things should be changed and that rules should be equal across the board. So
I agree with that, because I just find it confusing because it's all under like this one Olympic organization, and I just find it confusing how they judge that one situation is okay and one situation is unallowable.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. I'm just like, if y'all gonna make rules, make them stick for everybody. That's really my big to do. Like, just make them stick for everybody. Then it's like, you can't say, oh, you're bringing, because I did, y'all know how I get to reading stuff, the comments, and then I'll be like, you know what? But I'm not a Twitter thug. So what Jayla say last season, thumb thugging? I don't be thumb thugging. So I said, let me just relax. But it's like, if the rules are just the same across the board, then you can't say, oh, well, she shouldn't have did this, or, oh, well, they willingly, it really is just like this is just the rule. And then people can't get online and say stuff like, well, oh, why is the little Black girl bringing her race into it? Now she's, being the victim is hard. She's not being a victim. She's stating clearly this is messed up. Like, regardless of color, creed, class, speed, she doing drugs too. Like, come on now, let's be honest about it. So that's where I stand on that. What's up with that is if y'all gonna make rules Olympics, make them flat, period, straight across the board. Like the 10s that y'all like to put out there, 10s across the board, period. And that's that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into this segment, y'all. As I said, it is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. We are going to let Ms. Wilkerson have the floor. Deshaun, take it away.
Ms. Wilkerson sounds so formal.
I was looking at your name, and I don't know why the W was just like boom, and I was like, yeah,
that W. So I want to make it conversational because I don't get to hang out as much as I like to with Gen Z.
Yes.
I don't get to hang out as much as I would like to. So I like to have it a conversation where we can talk about it. And y'all, I'm older. I've been married for 14 years. I've been out the game for a while. I mean, like Jersey in the rafters, number retired. So y'all gonna have to talk to me about what it's like to date now. And then we can start to talk about kind of what are some things that what boundaries we can set, what things we can kind of set in place that we are not victimized as it relates to dating abuse. So I just want to start there. Like, how do you meet with people? How you meet people now? Is school, online? Where do y'all go for dates? Give me the tea.
Well, I mean, coming from like a high school perspective, a lot of like meeting people is either like a friend of a friend of a friend will like tell you, oh, you know who would be a great fit for you? Or it'll just be like Snapchat.
What?
Yeah, like I have so many friends that have met people on Snapchat and then formed like relationships out of it. It doesn't tend to go well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, the other part was kind of how we used to meet people, like, oh, you slide that person the number of your friend who were interested. So that's the same. Okay. How else? Where do y'all go? Where do y'all go on dates?
Well, the movie date is still a thing.
Okay.
Dinner date. But I think dates are more just like trying to spend time with people because a lot of people are so busy right now. So like I have one friend just the other day who went on a date with his girlfriend to Hobby Lobby, and that's what they did. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got to interlude here. How much money he got? Because Hobby Lobby costs some money, okay? Where he work? What's he do outside of school? Because baby, Hobby Lobby $40 to get in the door. Like, I don't have a hobby no more thanks to the lobby. So tell me something.
And Hobby Lobby is not a code word for something else. We talking about the store where you get the
store with the orange letters. And from what I heard, he said he just walked around and they talked and they hung out and they looked at stuff. They didn't really get much and then they left.
Okay, that's new. That's interesting.
Prices, because y'all talking about some Hobby Lobby.
I wish I had some Hobby Lobby money.
Okay.
Right, that part. Okay, so we've established kind of where we meet people, where we go on dates. Now let's kind of talk about what are some things that you look for in the person that you're dating. Like, you can give characteristics, you can give just like, I like them tall, I like them dark skin, whatever. Give me some care, or they have to be kind. Give me some characteristics, some things that you like in the person that you're dating, your partner.
I was trying to stay a little quiet on this because I feel like I'm an older Gen Z. Like I was born in 2000, so
okay.
I'm kind of like on the edge of both. I'm like on the edge of both. But I I think back when I was still like dating and stuff, I was looking for like companionship, somebody that I could like go have a good time with, somebody that could make me laugh, but who was also kind, and caring, and like somebody that I could have like more than small talk conversations with. Because something that I think our generation struggles a lot with is the whole like talk, we call it the talking phase. It gets so boring and repetitive. What you doing? Okay, LOL. You know, like I want more than just simple conversations. So that was my main things when I was still dating. But I'm gonna let Stanley take the lead because he's a true Gen Zer.
I'm trying to think. What do I look for? I just like someone that's like not who's someone that you can count on to be there for you. So someone that you know isn't gonna like if you ask them to do something for you, they're going to do it for you. And if they don't, they have like a good reason why. One thing that I know you guys have probably heard, it's like when you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes, right? I like people who play games, it's like I don't understand the appeal of that.
I like that. Y'all better be nice to my friend. I just want y'all to know, okay? He done told y'all to be nice to him. I'm reiterating it. Be nice to my friend, all right? I like that. That's good, Stanley. Yeah.
Rachel, I'm interested because you said that the conversations are like kind of flat and short. What do you think that's contributed to? Like, is it because it's more of like a tech society and it's kind of, you don't really have those real interactions anymore, that the conversations don't really flow like they need to?
I think it can be, I think it's slightly that it's text, but I think more often than not, like I said, we overemphasize like the whole talking phase. So we like try to intentionally get to know each other. And then you realize you don't have anything to talk about because you spent so much time getting to the talking phase that you don't have anything in common with this person. So the conversation is very like, what you doing? Like you're playing 20 questions, even though you're almost 20 years old. Like there are other more deeper conversations that you could be having, but you are trying to get to know that person. So you aren't actually naturally interacting with them, if that makes sense. Like we try too hard to make everything a fit, I think.
We definitely in high school rushed things a lot. Yeah, a lot of rushing.
Oh, yeah. Y'all be like, oh, we only got a quarter, so let's go on and make this thing happen. I love you. Let's get married. We're going to break up next quarter, though.
Right.
And y'all mean it with your whole spirit.
Thanks. Okay. So we talked about kind of what are some things we like, where do we go on date, how we meet people. We even talked a little bit of like the definition of how we define relationships. It would sound like y'all talking and then it goes from talking to where? Then y'all go together, or y'all put titles on things, or is it just kind of like it's just no title?
I guess it kind of depends on what area you're in the talking phase, and if both parties are being transparent. I've seen a lot of times where people get in the talking phase and now you're like in a situationship, like the person is kind of stringing along the other person because they like their attention, but they don't want to commit to them. So now you're just wrapped up in this thing that's really not going to go anywhere, but it's strictly just a situation. And then you have people who get out of the talking phase and then they're dating and then they get into a relationship, or rather you're in the talking phase and now you're somewhat committed before you finally get some kind of title. I do feel like it's a lot of extra steps. Me personally, I feel like you already know if you want to be within somebody's presence within like the first month or 3 weeks. Like there's only so much talking you need to do before you like feel this person's energy and you're like, I might want to stay here, I might not, type deal.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Because Johnny, you brought up a really good point, and I see a lot of times on the TLs that people are just like, "Oh, let's just like it's the stupid little quotes, the little Justin LeBoy quotes or whatever," and it's like, "Oh, let's just go out on dates, talk on the phone all night, kick it, all this other stuff. You be my Valentine, but we not together." What is that? That is dating. That's dating.
And
Like
so what I find super crazy is how people in our generation, I'm on the older side of Gen Z, I guess. Like how are you gonna ask for boyfriend time but not reciprocate girlfriend energy? Like it's just not going to happen. And it's really interesting to me. It's like, well, us as a whole, as a generation, we like to have our cake and eat it too. We want to have it all. We want quick money, and we also want long-term security. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way. And I feel like we do that in relationships too.
Yeah, I agree. It goes back to what Stanley was saying about when you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes, because it's really just a thing of manipulation. People who want the energy of a relationship without the commitment, they're saying, I want what you can give me, but I don't want you. And that is a sign that you need to learn how to love yourself. I'm just say that and shut up.
We're going to put that in bold letters at the bottom later on. So I have a question for you, Deshaun. So with that, because Rachel brought in like that manipulation, right? So as far as dating goes, like what are the, I don't want to call them stats, because when people hear stats, they get bored. They're like, she's talking numbers. But these are important numbers, you know what I mean? What does that look like as far as with teenagers or young people dating, what the manipulation looks like? What does it look like as far as, the dating violence that is happening with the young people? Because people don't think it's happening, but we know it is.
It definitely is. And what happens is that really teenagers don't really put that label that there's dating violence, but there's definitely elements of dating violence there. And so things like, and there's so many ways, even now, like, having, you guys sharing your location and that they're knowing where you are all the time. Okay. In a healthy relationship, really that can go over into the stalking type vibe as far as dating abuse. Gaslighting is one big that I hear now, making somebody feel like, nah, I know. I know what I know, and now you're making me think I don't know it. That happens a lot. And what we see is that those things where I say relationships happen in a spectrum, right? You have healthy relationships, you have unhealthy relationships, and then sometimes unhealthy relationships can switch over to abusive relationships. And it can happen so quickly that you don't really recognize, oh, wait a minute, we were in a good space, and now we're over into the space where I'm not comfortable, I don't feel safe. And it's a whole thing. And once you're in that abusive stage, it's really, really hard to sometimes untangle those webs and get back that you're loving yourself, that you're believing that you deserve better, and that you're in a better situation where you know that you don't have to put up with being in an abusive relationship. And once that happens, is that you're more likely as an adult to kind of continue that pattern of being with people who are abusive to you. Yeah. And so that's why it's so important that we're having this conversation today with teens, and we can start to get like, okay, have boundaries. Boundaries are okay. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say, no, I'm not cool with that. Yeah. And stand 10 toes down with it. You don't have to negotiate some things. Yeah. And so if you get comfortable, you get that down now. As an adult, when you have an adult relationships, you kind of know what to expect when things don't feel right, don't feel comfortable. When you feel like, okay, those red flags are starting to happen, you can get out quicker. As an adult in adult relationships, if you start to kind of recognize what those signs are now.
I love that. Y'all, if y'all see the signs, the red flags are not cute, okay? I know y'all see them on the TL. It's not just an emoji, okay? So let me ask you, because you just said something important. You said teenagers, right? And Rachel and Johnny have shared, like, yeah, they're a little bit older. They still was born in 2000, but you know, they're a little bit older on the spectrum versus Stanley, who's a little bit younger as far as being Gen Z. Where does it start? Like, how early have you seen it? Have you heard it for young people?
Yeah, honestly, it can start as early. Like I have conversations with my 9-year-old at 9, because I always say it can start with friendships, right? You can start establishing those boundaries of like, okay, if she's talking to you like that, that's not a good friend. You shouldn't have to stay in that type of friendship. That's not okay. So again, it starts really young, and then recognizing, what are your boundaries? What are some things that are not okay? And I talk to my girls about, okay, about unwanted touch, and to the point where my 9-year-old like doesn't even want to be seen by a male doctor. She's like, Mom, I'm not okay. And I'm like, girl, it's okay. She's not okay. Go get a female doctor.
Someone else now.
So, but really letting them have those choices and letting them know that it's okay to be in charge of you. And so that starts really, really, really young. And we have been taught as a community, sometimes, especially when I was growing up and even, older than me, that we really didn't have a voice. It was that you be quiet, when I talk to you, that's when you can talk, But I think it's very important that, as young age, yeah, tell me what's going on. Let's talk about it. And having those healthy conversations is really, really important, because it can happen really, really young. You're seeing suicides at 9, 10, 11-year-olds. And it's because of kind of what we're talking about today, the pressures of, oh, I want to be with this person so bad, but they treat me so bad that I don't see another option.
Yeah.
So it can start really, really young. And again, you're more likely to kind of continue that pattern into adulthood if you don't start to address some of those things now.
Yeah. Parents, please listen. She said 9. You understand what I'm saying? That's not even a double digit. That's a really big deal. 9. Like, think about 9. That's Barbies and Disney and Cartoon Network. And okay, my timer is being just a little bit rude. I set the timers because I will get off track in a heartbeat, and then we'll be here for 2 hours. And my supervisor will be like, Nisa, it's an hour segment. So what you doing? But no, please, 9 years old. Let's start talking to your young people. Whether that's a sibling, a cousin, a niece, a nephew. Start talking, figure out what's going on in their heads. Because my 11-year-old twin brother is talking about a little girl at school who calls him Big Willie, and I just don't like it. His name is William. Let me be clear with that. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Every day there's gifts and flowers and cards and pictures, and I'm just like, she has the cooties. Leave her alone. Okay, get away from her. So let's have the conversations early.
Yes, and I would say,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, and two parents, like, don't get like freaked out about it. Like I'm freaking out inside when she's telling me different things, but on the outside, I'm like, oh, really? Like, tell me more about it, because I want that communication lines to be open. Like, my day it was like, okay, your parents aren't your friends, and no, I'm not on the friend level of like your friend, but I do want you to feel comfortable talking to me about anything and everything, and so you have to make them feel comfortable that they can do that.
Yeah. I like that. So the takeaways from this, y'all, let's have some conversation, please, early. The earlier, the better, especially with this generation. Everything is like in y'all's face super early. Y'all have access to everything, way too much if you ask me. So let's have these conversations, boundaries. Let's start talking about them early. And Deshawn had said, she's like, it starts with a friendship, like even when we're friends, let's talk about, the things that we want, the things that we don't want. And if that develops into something cool. From Stanley, I learned apparently high schoolers got Hobby Lobby money, that's pretty cool. I was a broke high schooler. Okay. So, I love it. So we're gonna move on to the next segment and get up in this thing. Deshawn, you're more than welcome to stay and kick it with us if you would like. Yeah. Stanley, you have you have permission to take over here. So we're gonna start with my favorite this one time at band camp. Can you give us a one time at band camp story that has to do with relationships, platonic, romantic, familiar, professional, personal?
I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. So I have a lot of friends who talked about the jump from like middle school to high school and how they were involved in a lot of friendships where they were in like the group, the it clique, and they didn't get to do anything they liked in middle school, and they didn't get to hang out with the people that they wanted to be friends with, and then they moved up to high school and realized that they didn't have to hang out with those people at all. So that's a pretty good story that I have to share.
So this one time at band camp, your friends discovered that they don't have to be who people want them to be.
Right.
That's big. That is big. I'll take that. All right. So that's his band camp story. Y'all keep it in mind because we're coming back to it. Johnny or Rachel, what's your one time at band camp story?
My one time at band camp story, it's kind of like Stanley's story. I'll keep the same theme. I remember being on the bus with my Dragon Ball Z shirt on, because I'm gonna rep the set. Don't matter what age it is. It's ninth grade. It's my first day. Everybody has their fresh clothes on that they laid on the bed that they slept next to. They ready to wear them. They got to look fresh, polos, Air Force Ones. You know what's going on.
Yes.
I'm still trying to do me. And we're going in high school for the first time. Everybody is trying to rush over to who they already know from the previous year and try to get in these cliques real fast. And I just remember me and my friends staying with each other for even the next 4 years. And even now, still hanging out, still keeping the same 4th of July traditions of shooting fireworks together and just having a good time and not let, societal cliques overcome our friendship. And so that is my one time at band camp story.
I love that. So one time at band camp, Johnny went to school in Dragon Ball Z clothes and got some lifelong friends. That's so cute. I love it because lifelong friends are very rare. You see how I did that? Very rare. Rachel, I think she might have stepped. Oh, she's back. And she did the hair flip on us. Slay queen.
No.
Rachel, what is your one time at band camp story, sis?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I am the kind of person, I never have just like one close friend. There's always like a group. There's always a squad, whatever you want to call it. So when I was in high school, yeah, exactly. I had a group of friends, and I think there was 4 girls and 4 guys, and I just remember us as girls focusing way too much on romantic relationships or what we deemed romantic relationships. And by the time my senior year rolled around, we were all like scrambling to find dates for prom, and I think all of our dates, my day dropped out on me. I don't know about them, but we ended up all just going to prom together, like the 8 of us. And we ended up having a really good time, just hanging out with our friends, being able to be ourselves, not worried about, do you look good enough for your date? Do they match? We just had a good time. And so I think my one time at band camp is just that, like, I went to prom with my friends and I actually had a great time because I was focused on building those relationships that really mattered. So yeah.
I love it. Y'all got some good band camp story. I need to go to camp with y'all. Deshaun, do you have a one time at band camp story for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it juicy. Mine is actually from college. At the time, I had a kind of like, speaking of boundaries and kind of setting, like, are you girlfriend, boyfriend? I had a boyfriend technically from high school, but we went to separate colleges, so it was kind of like, when we're together, when we're not. I went to Jacksonville State, he went to Alabama State. He popped up one weekend. I was also talking to my now husband, and so I, he comes for the weekend. I go to church. We go to church together or whatever, because I'm saved. And And then the other guy who's now my husband like showed up too. And so it was kind of like awkward. And I was like, oh, what I'm gonna do? So yeah, needless to say, that was like where I had to make some real decisions of like who was gonna play a part and where. And 14 years, 15, 16, however long we've been together later, I guess I made a good decision.
Okay, I love it. She gave us some hot girl tea. She was like, yeah, sometimes we get caught. It's okay. It's all right. Ladies, don't get caught. Let me see. One time at band camp. One time at band camp. I'm gonna use my bestie booth. So one time at band camp, y'all, and this is a college story. Y'all know I'm a thug out here, not real life, but I'm real tough. One time at band camp, I had a college roommate my first couple weeks of college. We didn't really get along. And so she decided that she was gonna leave me in the dorm by myself, because she thought that meant that I was going to have to pay the remainder of the dorm, staying in a single by myself since it was too late in the year. And one time at band camp, that didn't happen because I called a girl that I met at orientation. She moved in the dorm with me, and I'm not going to get y'all a number because that's going to age me. But years later, I attended her wedding in the Bahamas. I hang out with this girl to this day. I call her when things are wrong, when things are right, when I drop my gum and it's on the bottom of my shoe and I just need to tell somebody. So one time at band camp, I kicked an old roommate out, got a new one, and met one of my favorite people in the whole wide world to this day. So yeah. So the reason we gave y'all band camp stories, y'all, is because we want y'all to understand that we've been there, done that, as Miss Humphrey says, got the t-shirt, okay? So there's nothing that we're going to talk about that we're just saying just to be saying. We're saying it from experience, we're saying it from our hearts, and we're saying it so that hopefully you take something, put it in your pocket, pull it out when you need it later, and blow it into the world. I see what I did there? Real cute. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this conversation. So real quick, please note that the following conversation is not meant to offend anyone, but to educate. In order for people to know better or to do better, they must know better. Y'all, I'm hot, bear with me. Therefore, a conversation needs to be had. Stanley, I miss Zaria. She always said that's so lovely. We'll have to bring her back. Hey, Zaria, girl, love you. All right, so whoever wants to go first, name an influential relationship in your life off the top of your head. Don't think too hard.
Definitely my parents.
Okay. Shout out to the parents. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Stoudemire. We love y'all.
I think my first impression of relationships came from watching Different World. So I'm gonna say Dwayne and Whitley.
Rachel, I'm rewatching right now. I'm on season 4, episode 7. So we're here, sis. Yes.
My favorite show.
Yes, they're everything. I love it. Johnny, what you got for us?
Hey, my grandmother, because they don't make them like that anymore. I'm like, she was classy and just real foxy like, and so she taught me a lot about how to be a woman. So I always say my grandma.
Oh, I like that. Shout out to grandma. Okay.
I would say definitely my relationship with my biological dad has been really, really influential lately.
We love that. Shout out to Black fathers. They matter. Hashtag all day. Please understand it. Noah understand it. Black fathers matter. All right. The most influential relationship in my life. It's corny, it's cheesy. I don't care. My mom is really like me and her relationship. Like, you know how mom's like, I'm not your little friend. My mother is my dog. Okay. That is my bestie. I don't care. She can say it all day. We not friends. You my bestie, sis. Okay. So yes, my mother is the most influential. Everything that I am, everything I strive to be, it really is after her. Like, Weezy is dope. Like I could go on about her forever. I'm not gonna, because this ain't about me, but shout out to my mom. That's the most influential. Yeah, that's my dog. All right, so y'all, we talked about our relationship. So I heard grandparents, I heard parents, I heard Rachel, you said Dwayne and Whitley. Y'all, if y'all don't know them, get to know them. Stanley said his parents. So we've got a good intersectionality here, right? So we've got different types of people in our lives. Our parents are married. Maybe Dwayne and Whitley, they was apart for a while. You know, our individuals like our mothers, our grandmothers. Johnny said his father. So when you think of these different types of relationships, even the friendships, do y'all think that things like boundaries, respect, loyalty, do you think that they kind of flow or they're needed in all of these different types of relationships in our lives? Is there anywhere they're not needed? I got y'all thinking. Go ahead, Johnny.
Do you mind saying that last part of the question one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think things like loyalty, boundaries, respect, do you think there's any type of a relationship in our lives, whether it's platonic, romantic, or familial? So relationship, like, you know, dating, whether it's between your friends or between your family, where those boundaries, the respect, the loyalty, it's not as important, or you can like kind of not have it there and it's okay. Look at Rachel's face.
Oh, okay.
Like, no.
I think the quote, blood is thicker than water, is sometimes true, but other times, like always and forever, choose yourself in a healthy manner. My biological dad, we've only known each other for a year, but while I worked at a shelter, it was one of the hardest years of my life. That abusive relationship I was getting out of, and you would think somebody who's, you know, wanted to speak for me for that long to see me go through that would like be on my phone every day. But he allowed me to reach out to him, and he would send me little things. So I had the opportunity to set a boundary with him while also being vulnerable enough to be supported when I needed it. So, you know, I think I would definitely say, you know, no offense to the older generation, microaggressions are very, very real. And it's perfectly healthy to give yourself some respectful space, young people, some respectful space, you know, to just let them know, hey, I love you, I care about you, but I need to take a couple steps back before our relationship gets to a place where it'll be hard to revive. And I've had to say that several times this year. Another big thing that I've learned is that no is a full sentence. And some people will never understand it, but it's definitely a full sentence. I'm not obligated to explain or expound upon my no. It's just no. And that's a good reason. And so that's what I think.
I love it. Johnny said everything. And I like that. And I thank you so much for being vulnerable and open enough to share that, you know, you have been in a situation that has been violent and you're able to say that. That's big ups to you. And even to being able to say, like, I put these boundaries in place. That's what's up. We love it. Stanley, I see that mic unmuted. What's up? Come on, mic drop king.
That no is a full sentence is something that I think me and definitely my generation struggles with. Because I feel like we've been like the understood ideas that we're supposed to figure out how to make things work or try a little harder. But sometimes I think that realizing no is okay, that being able to say no is always an option, is something that I feel like we don't get taught enough.
Yeah, I like that. That's what's up. Rachel, what you got for me? I see you thinking.
I think boundaries are super important, and learning how to establish them, like Mr. Sean was saying earlier, early is beneficial. And I don't think there's ever a relationship where boundaries won't be needed. And if somebody tells you that they aren't, that's a red flag. They need
Period.
to go. But Johnny said something that I thought was super interesting, because about the saying, blood is thicker than water. The full saying is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So it actually means the exact opposite of what we say it to mean. So I think that just goes to show that even in your familial relationships, the relationships you have with your parents and your siblings, your grandparents, those relationships are super important and they're super valuable, which is even more of a reason to have healthy boundaries. And sometimes, taking a step back respectfully, as he was saying, is the best thing to do. But boundaries are absolutely always a necessity.
Y'all on fire today. I was not prepared. I thought we was going to giggle and kiki, and y'all out here dropping gems and saving the world one conversation at a time. I'm here for it. Deshaun, what do you think? Do you think that there's any type of a relationship where like boundaries or respect or loyalty do not matter?
No. I mean, I'm at a point. I'm at a point in my life. Peace is everything, and if you cannot contribute to that peace, then we're gonna have to stay peace. I mean, seriously, I just think that it's just that simple for me.
Yeah, I like that. And Rachel, you brought up a really good point, like tying it to Johnny's point where he was like, step back respectfully. Young people, I'm talking to the camera. I need y'all to understand something. At no point, time, way, shape, form, or fashion are we saying be disrespectful, be out of pocket, be beside yourself, and none of that. What we're saying is that you are human people too. You are human beings. Your feelings and all of that stuff is very, very valid. However, there is a way as young people to express yourselves respectfully and still get your point across. Find that way and do it that way. If you have to write a letter, if you have to say, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, grandma, can we just come back to this and we try again later? But I really think that sometimes when young people, because I do it sometimes, still, I'm growing, I'll pop off at a heartbeat. It don't take but a second for me to be like, let me tell you 3 things and 4 things on a Sunday. However, growth, maturity, and respect for yourself is being able to say, you know what, I need to take a step back from this. Like Johnny said, can we discuss this when I have a moment to gather myself? You know what I'm saying? Because words are powerful and you can hurt somebody's feelings like that. And they say, somebody very, very intelligent said people will never forget. They may forget what you do. They may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. That is Dr. Maya Angelou. All right. May she rest in peace. So keep that in mind when you're setting your boundaries or you're talking about them. You don't have to do it in a way that offends, that's disrespectful, or that's rude. All right. So we talked about boundaries, and I kind of feel like we touched on this. How do you enforce your boundaries, y'all? Like, how do you do that? Like, let's talk on the friend level, because I heard a lot of friendships in the midst. How do we love our friends? We want to spend time with them. We want to take our selfies. We want to go on trips. If you're like me, you want to come over and be in their house while they're at work, and then they come home and you're in the bed eating their food. Yeah, that was me. It is what it is. How do you enforce boundaries in your friendships? It's tough.
I'm very, very fortunate to have the kind of friends I have who we get to have these kinds of conversations on just boundaries in general. And we talk about, what days are good for each other. Sometimes me and Nisa in particular, we won't hear from each other for a week. But we'll slide that, how you doing, Texas? You good? You good? We gonna send a little something and get with each other. It's not like we've forgotten about each other or we've consciously said, hey, I'm not gonna hear from you for a week. It's just, the mutual respect between me and another friend, just acknowledging, hey, I'm a human being. I'm going through experiences. I deeply care for you, but I still got to keep living. And we're going to come back to each other when we get there. Yeah. And I think we have a hard time with that in this generation because we want to be stuck up under everybody's neck 100% of the time. But I also feel like that's a thing where, we have to intake mass communication to just keep the noise going because we don't want to be left with ourselves for too long. And so, I really value some of the friendships I have because they're that way. We're very flexible with each other.
That's what's up. Johnny just called me out. Because just today I was like, why my friends ain't texting me back? I'm bored. Stanley, I want to ask you from the younger Gen Z's point of view. So, like, how do you, what are our boundaries, like Johnny said they are for, like, the younger, sophomore-ish, junior-ish, in that area as far as high school goes?
I feel like for high school, the boundaries are like, I know you're a busy person, and you know that I'm a busy person. So I think you need to respect that. And what enforcing that looks like is like when someone gets upset with you for not being able to come to an event, or gets mad at you for not going to some party that they're hosting. I think it's important that you can step back and say, my time is just as important as your time.
Say it again, because somebody's mother was vacuuming the floor, and so they missed it. So just tell them one more time, please.
My time is just as important as your time.
I'm getting a shirt. I'm getting a shirt, and on the back it'll say "Reclaiming My Time," and on the front it'll say "My time is just as important as your." Stanley, that's beautiful. And young people, that's a beautiful way to let people know, like, I love you, but I mean, I got the same 24 hours as you. Come on, Mike Drop King. Come on now.
Stanley, I'm about to tell my kids that.
I don't think it works like that for us. I don't think it does.
No, that it
I
works.
think, no, that's a different. Rachel, what about you?
I guess I can go ahead and speak for like a college student. Being in college, I feel like boundaries are kind of built. Well, I don't want to say that because it's possible to have unhealthy relationships with your college friends. But the fear of getting over the fear of missing out is your biggest thing, because when you're in college, there are going to be a lot of things that vie for your attention, and your friends are going to be involved. They might be involved in Greek life, athletics. They might just like to go out and have a good time. And that's not always what you need to do. Sometimes you need to rest. Sometimes you got homework. Sometimes you need to spend time with yourself. Sometimes you need to clean your room and wash your clothes.
I don't want to do that last
I'm
part,
just
but
saying,
I feel you.
but I'm just saying, you know, having friends that understand when you can and when you can't, and who, like Stanley said, don't get upset at you for having responsibilities outside of that is really key. And then, I know it can be awkward, but my biggest thing is nobody's going to know if you don't tell them. So you have to say it. You have to communicate verbally. Maybe not just acting like you don't want to go, but telling them, don't even do the "we'll see" or "I'm on my way." Just tell them you're not coming. I'm not coming. I'm on the couch. I'm in my pajamas. I won't be there.
Yeah.
Just be upfront about what you can and can't do, and give the people in your life space to respect that or not.
Yeah. And something I really push for the crew baby, or I'm sorry, y'all not babies, y'all young adults, for the crew students is that and really anyone, is that people who are upset with your boundaries are people who benefited from you not having any, right? I don't care if you tell them, don't call me past 12 p.m. because I'm asleep. If you get mad at that, you benefit some type of way from being able to call me at 12:01 p.m. So please keep that in mind, young people and old people, or I'm sorry, seasoned people, everybody, keep it in mind. Anybody who cannot respect your boundary, they somehow benefit from you not having them. In that case, I don't want you in my life because this is a safe space all day, every day. Amen. So since we're talking boundaries, this is a big one for me. I'm gonna get real serious with y'all with this one because I don't play about it. It's not funny, especially with like all the things happening with the Me Too movement and all these rappers and singers and artists and things like that coming out the woodworks and trying to, throw dirt on the names of people who are claiming that or saying that these things are happening to them. Consent is huge. Consent is huge. Consent is huge. That's across the board. Whether it's your mom, your dad, your niece, your nephew, your uncle, your cat, your fish, consent is huge and it matters. And there is never a time where you don't have to ask for consent. That's a friendship, a relationship, anything. I ask for consent if it's okay to hug my 2-year-old niece. Yes, she's 2 and she loves to hug people, but it's still her body. She still has dominion over it. And so I want people to really take that you have the option to say no to anything that you are uncomfortable with. I don't care what it is. There's a way to say it and there's a way to stand firm on it. But with the way the world is working and all the victim blaming that is happening, that is awful and disheartening, y'all, consent is so huge. So huge. Consent is huge because I had a high school student once upon a time who said he didn't understand why it was a big deal when the person was, they're dating. And the conversation had to be because you don't want someone to be confused on something that you thought they were okay with. And every time they see you, they feel away and you thought they were good. Consent is huge. Consent has a time limit. Just because someone is okay with something in one instance does not mean it transfers for tomorrow. It is not a bus pass. It's not a plane ticket. You need to get a new ticket every time for everything. A handhold, a high five, a handshake, play a PlayStation. Consent is huge, y'all. I cannot stress that enough. The word of the day is consent. Okay? And consent means permission to do, say, or be something. Consent.
And I will add, you can't give consent if you are too drunk, if you're too high, if you're incapacitated. None of that.
Nothing.
Can't give consent.
And consent is as simple as yes or no. That there's no maybe. If it's maybe, take that as a no. If you ask your mom, hey mom, can I go to the movies? Maybe. Y'all know what your answer is? No. It's a no. Mom, I'm getting a PlayStation for Christmas? Maybe. Santa ain't blessing you like that this year, kid.
Not I guess, not sure, not yet, not yes.
I don't care, because that's a big one too. I don't care. It's up to you. Y'all, we don't play about consent around these parts. What'd you say, Johnny?
You don't even do I guess.
Yeah, no, don't guess. No.
We ain't guessing.
Consent is huge. If y'all don't remember anything else, which I'm sure you will, but if you don't remember anything else from today, please remember consent. Consent can literally be the difference between you having a normal life and you making someone feel or you feeling like someone took something from you. And it can to you be so small. So please keep that in mind. So let's talk generational, y'all. We're going to move this thing along. Generational, right? And it's wonderful that we have this on here because as she said, she's from a different generation than we are. And I'm going to claim a different generation too. Don't be looking at me like that, Rachel. I'm not old, okay? I'm a little sprinkled with some seasoning. I write a little oregano here and there, a little parsley. Do y'all think, and I'm going to start with Stanley. I know you're tired of me bugging on you, friend, but hey, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that like the generational recipes of like our grandparents and our parents, even like maybe your older siblings or cousins, do you think they work for this generation? And when I say recipes, I mean like, the man pays the bills, the woman cooks, or like, girl, you can't wear that. You in a relationship now. Don't be posting that on social media. Take your man with you everywhere you go. That type of thing.
I was just having this conversation with my friend today about prom, because, prom's coming up, people are trying to find dates, and she was like, can I ask this guy to go to prom? And I was like, I mean, I don't see why you can't.
Yeah.
I think it's a big thing that's changed. I mean, we just had our Sadie Hawkins dance, where the girls ask the guys. And so it's like, there are the limits on like who does what in a relationship have kind of gone away as we've realized that we don't have to define our relationships based on what other people want from them.
Oh, I like that. That's beautiful. And y'all see why he's the mic drop king? Because he just be coming and literally he does that every time. We do not have to define our relationships based on
what other people want from them.
What other people want from them. Because you're not dating them, I am. I like that, Stanley. So young, so knowledgeable. Rachel, Johnny, what do you guys think? Are our grandparents, our parents' recipes for relationships working? Are they good for this generation?
This is a sticky question. This is really sticky because I think that there are a lot of things. I'm big on respecting the elders, giving honor to the ancestors, looking at what they did and being like, that was smart. We should do that. But I think in that there has to be a balance of realizing that as much as there is that is the same, there's just as much that's different. And relationships are not one size fits all. Like you wouldn't do the same thing in a relationship with your siblings that you would with your best friend or the person that you're in a romantic relationship with. So I think social media has jaded us to think that everybody's dating experience has to look the same because we're all looking for that perfect shot, that perfect moment, that perfect, I get to go on social media and brag. So everybody's like, the relationship has to look the same because the result has to be the same. And that's not true. So I think it really comes down to what works for you and that person. And that's where boundaries come back up. That needs to be established. It can never be assumed because when it is assumed, there are expectations that the other person can never live up to because you didn't communicate that. So like, I think it just, people need to learn how to talk to the person that they're in the relationship with and not everybody else, while still keeping that wisdom from way back when.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that. Come on through, Rachel. What you got, Johnny?
I definitely agree. Social media has this chokehold on our idea of what love is supposed to be. Now I haven't seen a different world. I know that's
Stop,
blasphemy.
pause, end it right there. I'm
I
taking
know
you out.
that's
I'm taking you out
blasphemy.
the game, my guy. What?
But I did watch Living Single. You know, redeem me, bring me back.
No,
bring
we're
me
not
back.
bringing you back. We're not bringing you back. We ain't doing it. You don't know the Wayne Willie. Relax, relate, release. Your homework for today. You gonna watch
Human
episode
college,
one.
sir.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, and you have to watch past season one, because if you know, you know. You have to get to season two. Go ahead, Johnny. I'm stressed.
Watching their relationships play out in the 90s was really interesting. I think something that I have conversations with people I end up trying to intentionally date is you know, what it's gonna look like if we did have a family. Are we gonna stick to this provider mentality? Because I know what it does to our Black sons. You know, the father is gone, he taking care of everything, and the son feels unloved, but it's not true. You know, he's out there busting his back. And I always say the same thing, you know, if I need to do what I need to do, I'm gonna do it. But objectively, you know, if it's 50-50, we can both share this time, you know, with the family that we love. But if not, you know, it causes things that can easily be avoided if we work together. I think a lot of things can be taken from the seasoned generation, like unity. Unity is a big thing. We're very quick on social media to cancel somebody for something they've done. We don't let people be, you know, human beings that make mistakes anymore. Back in the day, you used to find out about what Sally did at the barbershop or at the hair salon. But now I'm seeing Sally on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and she getting blown out the water, man. She, you know, it's like she's unredeemable from this one thing she did. And I just, you know, it's crazy. But I definitely do think we should, you know, acknowledge the former and keep them in mind, because if we don't, you know, we're going to repeat the process of having to bring ourselves back up mentally and do everything that they had to do to stand on their own 2 feet. We shouldn't have to repave the path. We should just improve upon it.
Young people, so intelligent. I love it. Yes, that's what I'm talking. Do not repave the path. Just improve upon it. That's what's up. I like that. Deshaun, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think like just like y'all were saying, like my parents have been together almost 40 years. And I think what I take for them is the commitment that they have. And that's something that I will, you know, I recognize that we really don't have as much now. But what I will say, what kind of some of the generational things that I don't see, like my mom would be like, you know, he's such a great father. He like gives them my kids bath and wash their hair. And I'm like, yeah, because he had them too. So you know, we're partners. And so you know, that's something that I think has kind of changed. And I hope that kind of continues, is that relationships are partnerships, and it's not, it could be whatever you want it. Like if y'all agree on that you stay home or whatever, I don't think any of that's bad. It's all what you kind of set up in your own relationship. But I think we've gone so far on one side now where, you know, it's kind of like, well, I don't need, and da 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 da, and it's like okay, but it's nothing wrong with wanting to be in a relationship and have a partnership. Like it's nothing wrong with that. And to say, yeah, I value my partner. I value his input. And not, you know, he's, you know, the head of the household, but like we consult each other on decisions. And so I think, that's something that has changed, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like that too. I think like y'all were saying, like take what we can use, right? Like take what we can use from the older generations, because not all of it is completely just like, y'all tripping. Now this is insane. The only thing I think that I'm just kind of like with is like the whole and this is for young ladies, where it's like the minute you tell somebody like, oh, we're dating, okay, when do you get married, where are the kids? Like, hold up, wait a minute, we going to Dubai first. Dubai is waiting for me. What do you mean Argentina? I want to go see the Bermuda Triangle. Like, what's a kid? What are you talking about? I think that's the only thing for me that I'm like, can y'all keep that over there? Because it's like as soon I'm the only girl out of my mother's 10 children. Okay. I have 9 brothers. And I am in a relationship. And the minute my mother heard that, because I've never brought anyone home, the minute she heard that, it was weddings and babies and dresses. Girl, huh? I don't even know if I'm gonna really like this man tomorrow. Like, you mean it? But it's like, let us figure each other out. Let us make sure that we want to do the kids thing. Let us make sure that we wanted to even do the marriage thing. Like, it doesn't have to be that. I think when it gets to putting your ideas on other people, or trying to, okay, well, this is how our parents did it, so we have to be in this box. I think that's when it gets a little like, I don't like that. And it can be a little distracting, because then you're not really building a relationship to build a relationship. You're building it because this is what my mom and my grandma thinks will look good, so let me go ahead and be what they want me to be.
Nisa, I have a theory that that idea that you need to get married, have kids, like they're doing it so fast, that is a survival mindset. And Black people specifically, I mean, I know this is not about Black people, but I got to talk about it. We have been in survival mode for so long that we see it as, you have to do it this way. And it all goes back to slavery, like this, like, you don't know how long you're going to live. You better hurry up and get married and have kids now. You better hurry up and live as much as you can right now. Because if you wait, you don't know if you're going to be able to do that. You don't even know if you're going to see these people again. So I feel like that survival mindset is something that has been passed down, especially for Black women, because whether we like to acknowledge it or not, we are very matrilineal. So we put the responsibility on the woman to go get married, have a baby, have a family, so you can, but we don't have to do that anymore. We have the luxury of enjoying life, of resting and taking our time to really grow in love, instead of, trying to make it a milestone to just reach. So, yeah.
Rachel, I never thought about it like that, because even if you do decide to get married and have children, I have 2 girls, and I always get the question, when you gonna give them a boy? And it's like, why? What's the need of having a boy? I'm perplexed. I don't get it. He's fine. We're good. Get out my room.
I love, Rachel, that's really good, especially because it's to the point now where, and I don't know if y'all have seen it on the timelines, it's to the point now where women are proposing to men. And I don't know y'all's standpoint on it. If that's your thing, fine. But as for me and my household, I think that there's something admirable and real vulnerable and just loving for a man to be able to get down on the knee and say, I would like to commit to you. And for a woman to trust, like, this person is saying they're going to take care of me. I trust with my entire being that they're going to do that, lovingly, monetarily, emotionally, all of that, physically. This person is going to make sure that I'm always okay. I feel like when you take that, that's the only thing I feel like, please keep that tradition. Ladies, please don't be out here proposing. Don't do that. Y'all are the prizes. I don't know what generation is telling you you're not. Bailey, is that a thing with young people? Because I do see it sometimes on the Watch app, where the TikTok, where they be like, yeah, I put them in front of TikTok, where they be like, oh, women, you're not the prizes. And I'm like, so your mama not a prize? You don't like your mama now? What's going on? Help me.
I haven't really heard. I myself don't have TikTok, but I am surrounded by it. So I haven't like been really seen much of this, but it sounds like something that would happen. But I don't know if like I can't imagine like I guess I understand the concept of it, but I don't understand why it would be better than what's already existing, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. Yeah. It's like that's a major role reversal that it just doesn't compute to me. It's like this puzzle piece does not fit at all.
I think it feels wrong because women like, and I'm not trying to, impose gender stereotypes, but in reality, we tend to innately bring this like emotional kind of vulnerability to a relationship. And it takes men, not all men, some men, longer to show that side of them. And so a proposal is that man breaking down that wall in public, or it's like it's a symbol of him breaking down that wall for you. And it kind of doesn't make sense for you to take that role if that's what you're already doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, Stanley, would you want to be proposed to? Like, a proposal is different because that's, that is, I just feel like that's what you do in high school. It's like you go to prom, you maybe Sadie Hawkins dance, right? But would you want, like, there's this girl, she makes your heart go pitter patter, and one day you turn around at the bowling alley in front of all your friends and your parents, and she's down on one knee asking you to be her husband?
I feel like that's for just speaking personally, I feel like that's something that I would want to do for her, if that makes sense.
Yes, because you're such a sweetheart. We love you, Stanley. They need to just go ahead and model the modern man after Stanley, y'all. He's so awesome. He really is. What about you, Johnny? Would that be like, is that an emasculating thing?
That's a no-go. That's a no-go. If I need touch the ground, I'll pick her back up. I don't even let and some women like to open their own door. I don't let women open doors around me. If you're around me, I'm finna open the door for you. It's just being a gentleman. Now I have seen trends of like women asking guys on dates and like just doing a date day like men would do for a woman, and them just like taking care of things and stuff like that. Like that's really sweet. Like that's intentional, that's considerate, and it's a plot twist. But like some things need to stay the same. That's something that just doesn't need to change. If a man is really committed to you, for one, they putting down their finances on a ring. And
hello. 4 carats are better because I'm bougie like that. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And for two, when they put that knee down and they're saying, will you marry me? Everybody else in their vicinity, because you already know, no matter what relationship it is, you got people in the background waiting on you to fail. They waiting on it. They waiting on it. But when you put that knee down, it's saying, we're in this and this is it. And I feel like that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So in that instance, I think we all agree, like allow, and y'all gonna get mad, ladies, but oh well, don't fight me because I know how y'all girls like to tussle. Allow the man to lead in that instance. That is absolutely okay. Because at that point, if y'all talking marriage, if he thinks it's okay to propose, y'all should be in a situation with somebody who you completely trust to lead you. And so keep that in mind. If you ain't, not immediately, but if you can't see at some point in a relationship, marriage with your person, whether it's male, female, male, male, whatever your dynamic is, if you can't see it at some point, y'all need to be together. Y'all 2 weeks. Y'all, what is it? A quarter of dating? Y'all's quarter is up. Y'all about to be in the next grade. Y'all's quarter is up. All right, let's get into these questions and then we'll get into Stanley's favorite game, which I actually might lose tonight, y'all. Who knows? I ain't had no real coffee in my system. So what is a hard no for you in a relationship? In any relationship? Think of all the relationships in your life, a hard no. Yeah, I know.
Mine is I don't cuss at me. I don't do it.
I can tell by your demeanor. It's a no. It's a no for her.
It's a no for me, dog. Yeah, don't do that.
Okay. She said, watch your mouth. All right.
So this is like excluding familial relationships, but demanding to know where I am at all times. Like in a familial relationship, it makes perfect sense. But in terms of like a friend or like someone like in a romantic relationship, you don't need to know my location at every single moment of the day.
Stanley said he is a CIA agent, mind your business, okay? And I'm here for it, Stanley, because period. People out here getting kidnapped. You think you finna? No, absolutely not. You don't need to know my location. I like that. And that's a good boundary to have. Rachel, Johnny, what you got for me? A hard no.
For me, not respecting my personal space, whether that be giving me time to just recharge. I'm an introvert, so I need that. It's not just I don't feel like hanging out or I don't want to be with you. I need that in order to be able to be the person that you enjoy having this relationship with in the first place. And also physically, I do not like being touched without my permission. I don't like it. It even especially like I was bad before COVID, but now I'm even worse. I don't like it. There's no reason for anybody to reach out and touch me, like we were saying before, without my permission, without my consent. Not a high five, not a handshake, not a hug. Don't touch me on my shoulders. Nothing, none of that. I don't appreciate it. And for very, very good reasons. I've had a lot of experiences with people who don't respect that, or at least in the past, I've had that experience. And it takes a really long time to heal from that and to forgive from that. So that's like a hard no for me. If I see in the first like 20 minutes of us hanging out that you don't respect other people's personal space, I'm not going to trust you.
I love it. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, y'all, it's COVID. Like Rachel said, don't be touching nobody anyway. Stop touching stuff. Please keep your hands to yourself. Like they do at school, fold your arms when you walk down the hall. Catch a bubble, straight ahead. I used to teach kindergarten. Yeah. Okay. Johnny, what you got for us? Hard no.
Hard no. I definitely observe on how a person will treat their friends and the people in their life. It's a good way to see like how they are as a person, because of course you're going to be sweet to me in the first week or two, because it's like selling a car. You're not going to tell me you need an oil change. You're just going to show me the best parts. But you have a person who will, just talk crazy to their friends, or their friends will have nothing to give them. And, there's nothing wrong with that. We don't form relationships for a give and take. We form relationships for community. And so just treating how that person treats people with nothing will show me how they'll treat me and how they value certain things. Because I know I'm valuable. And you're not gonna mistreat.
Say it again, friend. You what?
Values. I'm valuable. You can't mistreat these values. You know what I'm saying? I know how much I'll go out of my way for a person. And so I'm just very aware of that.
That's beautiful. And that's a beautiful thing to be aware of. Like every single one of us have value. Every single one of us are essential. If not, we would not be here. So please take that. If y'all don't take anything else from what Johnny has said from that statement, take that. You have value. You are essential. There's a reason that you're here. And it's not for somebody to mistreat you or disrespect your boundaries or treat you like, you're not important. You are. Period. Point blank. There's no questions about it. A hard no for me. I don't like people who bring up things that I share with them in confidence. Don't bring it up and try to throw it in my face. I'm not polite all the time. I'm just not. I'm not. And that's one of those things that'll take me to where I need to go to not be polite with you no more. Because I'm not a sharer already. Like I said, I'm one of 10. So, when you 1 of 10, you get in where you fit in. And sometimes, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to journal versus, hey, Ma, you got a second? Because, it's a lot of people. So if I do open up and I do share and you think it's okay to throw it back at me, whatever happens after that is between you, me, and the issue we have. So, yeah, I don't like that. That for me is a big no. Because it's like, that's a boundary. I'm trusting myself to open up to you. And that's another thing, young people, everything does not need to be shared via social media. If you end a friendship or relationship with someone, that does not mean the secrets that they tell you go into default and now you share them with the world. That says a lot more about you than it does them, that you're sharing something they trusted you to say. So keep that in mind. Last thing, y'all, the most important relationship, quote, the most important relationship in your life is the relationship you have with yourself. Real simple, yes or no. Is this true or not? Or is it just fluff?
I think it's absolutely true. Because I mean, if you can't love yourself, how do you expect to love other people? Or better yet, if you're not in a position where you're at least trying to mend the relationship you have with yourself, you can't expect you to be in a position where you can help someone else.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I wear many titles. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, whatever, whatever. But I never lose that I'm at the end of the day, Deshaun. And it's really hard to do that sometimes, but you are an individual first. And so setting time apart from being those other roles and just being with you always is okay. Give yourself permission.
Amen. Absolutely. Rachel, Johnny, what you got for us?
I think it's absolutely true, because even like, I think people don't really think about it a lot, but we're always in a relationship with ourselves. Like, even when you enter into relationships with other people, the only way that you can do that is by having a conscious relationship with who you are and being able to express that to somebody. So like, I think it's very important to have a healthy relationship with yourself, and to constantly be reevaluating what healthy looks like for you, because that's going to change as you change. And so that looks like taking care of more than just your outside and making sure that your inner work is happening consistently. But I definitely agree that the most important relationship you have is with yourself, because it's true.
Yeah, I love that.
I definitely agree with Rachel. Um, I I find myself always giving to the different aspects of my life. And so some certain parts I keep so personal that I call myself by my own nickname when I write. So like when I'm writing, I just go, John, like, how do we feel about this? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just go as deep as I can with myself. And it's why I'm able to communicate about my emotions and why the way I feel, because I figured it out first. A lot of the time we have people who will try to speak on what they feel like our best self is. And sometimes it's accurate, and sometimes it's really not. Sometimes it's only for you to pick apart what you need from that situation. But ultimately, taking that time for yourself is one of the best things you could ever do as an individual, because that's what you are outside of your communities, an individual.
Amen. I love it. Yeah. And I'm just gonna say, like I tell literally anybody, you are your longest commitment. I mean, literally, I think everybody here, with the exception of Deshaun, because we're just kind of meeting really, but I think everybody here has heard me say that multiple of times. You are your longest commitment. When you go, at the end of the day, it's you and whatever deity you pray to. So it's like, why not? Why not be your very best friend? Why not treat yourself like you are the queen of Sheba? Why not? Absolutely. Because when you do that, you are showing people how to treat you. Nobody in this world could treat me any type of way. There was once upon a time where somebody could. Now people know nobody can treat me any type of way. And when people get to thinking they can, say something. Speak up. Learn to speak up for yourself for the times when you were too young to do so and you were told you were to be seen and not heard. Learn to do so for the times when maybe you were put in situations with people who were taller than you, stronger than you, older than you. Like learn to do that. And when you do that and you really own it and you work on it, that's how you get to that healthier state that Rachel was talking about. And it is constant work. Because like she said, you constantly change. But once you start to do the work, there's absolutely nobody or nothing in the world that can make you feel like, oh, I'm not important. I'm not essential. I don't matter. Maybe I do have to accept this from somebody. Maybe this push, this shove is okay. Maybe this demeaning conversation is all right. Maybe I should just accept this as it is because this is all that I'm able to get at the moment. That is false. I'm telling you, it is false. It's false. If no one out there wants to love you as wonderful and as flawsome as you, I said flawsome, yep, as flawsome as you are, then you be that person. You be that person. Start today and watch how things change. So we're going to play 20 seconds or less, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Look, Stanley got excited. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, 20 seconds or less is a game where you are given a category and you have to name 3 things in that category in 20 seconds or less. Do not take a puff at it because I'm telling you, it's harder than it seems. So this time around, y'all, I love music. We are going to name songs. So we're going to name 3 songs with different words in them. Here's the kicker. We're all getting the same word. Yeah, because that's how I'm feeling today. Rachel's face. Who wants to go first? Stanley, pick somebody. Ain't that the joys of being the host? Pick someone, Stanley.
Rachel.
Look at her face.
Stanley, I knew you were gonna do that. I was like, oh, please don't pick me. I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Stanley, what word do you have for Rachel?
I'm trying to think. What's a good word?
Ooh, got you stressed, girl.
Love.
Oh, so you got a good one. Rachel, your 20 seconds start now.
Okay, so me and my friends, we have this idea that love is this infinite exchange of energy between 2 people where both are giving and both are receiving simultaneously. So whenever one of us feels like we're not loving the other one well, we say, hey, where's your energy at? I don't feel you this week. I don't feel you. Where you at? What's going on? I miss you. So I would say that love is once it's infinite and eternal, and it is always reciprocated. So yeah, I hope that was 20 seconds.
It was. You gave us a definition. We were looking for songs, but I love that even more.
And okay, a song is Love by Musiq Soulchild.
Yes, but I love what you did. Rachel just flipped it. She flipped the script. So we're going to flip the script with Rachel because I love that even more. What is love? I love that. Rachel, see, you be doing it. You don't even know you're giving, and you give, and you give. And the girls that get it, get it. And you're obviously that girl because you got it. All right. So Stanley, she switched it up on us. So I'm going to pick on Johnny next.
I'm so embarrassed now.
Don't be, because you gave us something greater. We didn't even expect it. All right, we love it. Johnny, what is love? 20 seconds or less.
20 seconds or less. Love is maintaining compassion for a person, even through their hardest day, even when they have nothing to give, even when their transparency is hurting you, but it's freeing them and you still love them anyway.
That was 20 seconds, and I think that was the most beautiful 20 seconds ever. Keep that, friend, because it was your wedding vows, okay? I'm gonna be there in the tuxedo on the side of you, crying. All right. Deshaun, 20 seconds or less. What is love?
Love is first loving yourself enough to give yourself permission to say no, giving yourself permission to say yes when you want to say yes, and forgiving yourself for the times that you felt like you were not enough.
I love that. You were right on the money with that. I love that. That is definitely what love is, especially that last one. Forgiving yourself for the times when you thought you weren't enough. That's beautiful. I'm not gonna cry, y'all. I'm certified thug. I'm not gonna cry. Okay. Stanley. Don't bring the tears, sir. I'm not here for it, okay? What is love? Your 20 seconds starts now.
Sometimes I think love can just be letting someone go and letting them walk out of your life and just be themselves, even if that means it's going to hurt you.
And then I just tell you not to have me up in here crying. I just said it. Y'all heard me say it. I'm gonna run it back in the recording so y'all can hear me say it. That is beautiful. And sometimes that is love. Young people, sometimes it's saying goodbye, and that's okay. That's beautiful. Y'all are amazing. I'm okay. That is, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. Um, I'll do 20 seconds or less. I'm not cheating because Stanley knows sometimes I'm like, right. So I'm just gonna simply say, like, um, love is the ability to fly without wings. It is what flying would be if we could fly without planes or parachutes or any of that. That's what it is to me. It's the thing that makes you feel like you literally could scrape the clouds. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so our good note, everyone. What is the final word on how you feel about this conversation? Audience, of course, you know you are more than welcome to put your what is love definitions in the chat, as well as your good note. How do you feel after we have talked about relationships across all spectrums? Oh, and then y'all too, of course.
Peaceful.
I like that. Peaceful. Okay.
Reassuring.
Ooh, reassuring. I like it. Yes.
Heard.
I love it. Ashe. Johnny feels heard. That's what's up.
I'm gonna go with Stanley and say peaceful.
Peaceful. That's good. That's a good way to feel after talking about something so heavy. You know what I mean? Like relationships are heavy across all of the board. I'm going to say I feel hopeful. I feel like having young people have these conversations and then having like the different generations intertwined, it allows for like the light to be shined. It allows the young people who are watching and their parents or their grandparents to say like, okay, y'all see us, y'all hear us. There are people who want to learn us and understand us. And then there's ways that we can maybe learn something new. So I feel hopeful. So of course, everyone, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to episode 2 of That's Y2K Gen Z Has the Floor, season 2. I'm never, ever going to get tired of saying that. I want to thank Stanley, of course, so much for being my co-host. Y'all will see him again next month because that's just what we do. Thank you so much to Deshaun for spending this evening with us. We really, really appreciate you coming and kicking it with us. Johnny and Rachel, y'all are super, super amazing. I think we got a tearjerker on our hands here, y'all. Y'all have no idea. To the YWCA of Central Alabama, thank you so much for allowing us this platform. To the Family Research Center, to my team, Doctor, why do I always want to make you a PhD lady? To Miss Latasha J. Humphrey, who is my amazing supervisor and the Associate Director of the Family Research Center. To Jalen Wilson, who sits up and listens to me like shoot these ideas at her all day, like, can we talk about this? You think that sounds cool? Thank you so much. To the entire IT department, to Denise, to Pam, to Kelsey, we really, really appreciate you. To the audience, thank you so much for staying with us, rocking with us. To the young people, know that you are your longest commitment, that you have value, you are essential, you are important. And there is never a situation or a time or an arena where it is okay for anyone to be causing you harm or for you to cause harm to other people. That says a lot more about them or you than it does the other way around. So please make sure that you are always living in love and light as best you can. And then also some important information, y'all, the YWCA crisis line phone number. If ever you need it, it is 24/7. Please call it if you need to, or give it to someone who needs to call it. It is 205-322-4878 or 205-322-HURT. The National Teen Dating Abuse Hotline is 1-866-331-9474. You can also text the word love is, that is one word, to 22522. That is the Love is Respect Dating Abuse Hotline. Y'all, dating violence is serious. Okay, it's very serious. It's not a joke. It's nothing to be played with. So if you don't remember anything else, remember consent, remember respect, remember boundaries, and remember that the way that you treat people says a lot more about you than it does them. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.